Good morning, everyone. This meeting is called to order. Mr. Trobman, has anyone signed up for public comment? Thank you, Mr. Trobman. Good morning, Ms. Miller.
Good morning, sir.
All right, agenda item 3, cases to reconsider under agenda item 3, but there are none.
None today.
None today. All right, agenda item 4, we'll consider tax liability cases under agenda item 4. I think there's 2 tax cases on docket 4.
Yes, sir. The first case is TD-21-024-0821. Commissioner Demerson,
I agree with staff recommendation.
Commissioner Alvarez,
I agree with staff's recommendation.
and Mr. Chairman.
Agree with staff recommendation.
And the second case is TD-21-035-1021. Commissioner Demerson,
I agree with staff recommendation.
Commissioner Alvarez,
I agree with staff's recommendation.
and Mr. Chairman.
Agree with staff recommendation.
Thank you.
We have no fair housing cases under agenda item 5.
Correct.
Let's move to agenda item 6. We have no wage claim cases pulled for additional discussion on docket 4.
That's correct. None pulled for discussion. You should have received the wage claim short form descent list for docket 4.
I move we accept staff recommendations on the remaining wage claim cases on docket 4.
I agree with that.
I concur with the chairman's motion, except for the cases on which I'm dissenting as reflected in the wage claim short form descent list for docket 4.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted.
Thank you.
Let's move to agenda item 7, consideration of unemployment insurance cases on docket 4. Please proceed when you're ready.
Case number 2603346, Commissioner Demerson.
We should grant a rehearing in this case. The employer has alleged that actions by the post office resulted in the employer's delayed receipt of the wage verification in question. Based on this allegation, and since the employer has not provided testimony on this issue, we should rehear this case to give the employer an opportunity to explain why its bill is late. Accordingly, we should rehear for timeliness testimony.
The AT decision is correct. The employer filed a late appeal from the wage verification notice because the employer failed to ensure that its mail was checked regularly while school was out on session. There is no good cause exceptions for the timeliness rules. The appeal should be dismissed for lack of jurisdiction. Affirm the AT late employer appeal, bill reimbursed employer.
Rehear.
We'll rehear the case.
Case number 2637441, Commissioner Alvarez.
The claimant's appeal alleges sending an earlier appeal that he did not receive a response from the agency after his last appeal. Since it is unclear if the claimant situation warrants an exception to the timeliness rule, this case should be reheard over this issue.
The claimant's appeal to the commission should be dismissed as late. The claimant filed his appeal to the commission beyond the applicable deadline to do so, and there are no good cause exceptions to the timeliness rules. We should therefore dismiss the claimant's CA appeal as late and leave the underlying decision in full force and effect.
Late commission appeal, AT decision remains in full force and effect in accordance with staff recommendation and to review the effect of the March 3rd, 2020 monetary redetermination on the earnings adjustment overpayment.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Alvarez.
Case number 2760290, Commissioner Demerson.
We should rehear this case for further development of the record. The majority of the testimony of the AT hearing focused on the claimant's job separation from the employer, which occurred in October 2020, several months after the date of the claimant's initial claim. The record has not been sufficiently developed to establish the facts regarding the job separation which occurred prior to the initial claim. TWC wage record supports the conclusion that the claimant experienced a job separation from the employer in the second quarter of 2020. Because the AT focused on the incorrect job separation and TWC records indicate that a job separation occurred prior to the date of the initial claim, we should rehear this case to further develop the record on the correct job separation.
The decision should be affirmed. Although the employer testified that it continued to pay the claimant and that there was no separation prior to the initial claim date, the claimant's wage records indicate that there was an extended period in which the claimant was not being paid around the second quarter of 2020. The claimant was effectively laid off during that quarter due to the pandemic and did not return to work until August of that year. A separation under these circumstances would not have disqualified the claimant had it been the last work on her initial claim. Although the claimant may have subsequently resigned in October of 2020, this was well after the initial claim date and is therefore not relevant to the reimbursement issue in this case. Accordingly, the employer's reimbursing account should be billed. Affirm the AT bill reimbursing employer.
Reverse the AT, reimbursing employer not billed.
We agree with the chairman.
Thank you.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Alvarez.
Case number 2830819, Commissioner Alvarez.
The claimant's initial claim dated June 21st, 2020 is invalid because the claimant had started a new job. However, the claimant was attempting to file benefits for his separation that occurred on March 19th of 2020. Since the claimant's separation and June initial claim both fell within the automatic backdating period, the claimant's initial claim should be backdated to March 15, 2020, which would make it a valid claim. Backdate to June 21st, 2020 initial claim to March 15, 2020, valid claim, and recalculate overpayment.
The appeal tribunal decision should be modified. First, the claimant's appeals should be deemed timely since it deals with the validity of the claim, which represents a one-time exception to the timeliness rules. As to the validity of claim itself, the claimant was not unemployed at the time he filed his initial claim. As such, the claim should be deemed invalid. We should therefore modify the AT decision, timely claimant appeal, invalid claim, overpayment of $11,304.
Modify the AT, timely claimant appeal, invalid claim, overpayment.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Alvarez.
Case number 2962643, Commissioner Emerson.
The commission should grant a rehearing in this case. In its appeal to the commission, the employer indicates that it had previously submitted documents that were not received by TWC. These include the claimant's acknowledgement of the employer's policy and prior disciplinary notices attributable to the claimant. The aforementioned documents play a critical role in deciphering whether the claimant was aware of the employer's rule on leaving its front desk unintended. As such, we should rehear this case to admit and review the employer's additional evidence concerning the claimant's job separation.
The decision should be affirmed. The claimant agreed to work on her day off from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. She made every attempt to remind the employer that she needed to leave at 1 p.m., but no member of management was available. Therefore, the claimant left at 1 p.m. as scheduled. She had no prior warnings for similar issues, and she should not be held responsible for the employer's scheduling issues. Additionally, I do not believe a rehear is warranted in this case because the employer failed to follow the hearing instructions for providing evidence at the hearing. Affirm the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
Affirm the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Emerson.
Case number 2992618, Commissioner Alvarez.
The decision should be reversed. The claimant worked as a retention representative, and it's not unusual for someone in her position to give incentives to customers to continue services. The claimant was discharged for giving a customer a $25 credit. While the employer testified that such exchanges were prohibited, the claimant testified that she was given permission by her supervisor and was never told that she was not allowed to provide such credits. Additionally, the employer did not provide a copy of their policies. As such, there is insufficient evidence that the claimant knew her actions violated any policy. Therefore, the employer has not shown misconduct. Reverse the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
The appeal tribunal decision should be modified. The claimant was terminated when she provided prospective customers with unauthorized offers of credit as an incentive for signing up for the employer's services. The employer's policy forbid quid pro quo arrangements between its employers and clients. The claimant was informed about the employer's policy and was previously counseled for violating the policy. Since the record dictates that the claimant was aware of the employer's policy, but thereafter acted in violation of the policy by engaging in quid pro quo agreements, her actions constituted misconduct connected with the work. Hence, we should modify the appeal tribunal decision. Misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response.
Modify the AT, misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Alvarez.
Case number 3011155, Commissioner Alvarez.
The appeal tribunal decision should be modified. I do not contest the finding that the employer filed a timely appeal. Regarding the separation, the decision was not correct. The claimant was fired for leaving a team lead employee in charge of a store during a 2-hour holiday dinner party on December 8th of 2020. All the managers attended the party. The employer has allowed the claimant to conduct these holiday dinners with the managers in the prior 7 years without a complaint. As such, the employer condoned the claimant's actions in not having a manager on duty in the store during the holiday dinner party. Additionally, there are usually 2 overnight shifts with no managers on duty each week. As the claimant was unaware that having all the managers at the holiday party could lead to his separation, the final incident did not rise to the level of misconduct connected with the work. Modify the AT timely employer appeal, no misconduct, chargeback, set aside adequate response.
We should modify the appeal tribunal decision. First, I agree that the employer filed a timely appeal. Concerning the job separation, the claimant was terminated for holding an off-site Christmas party where he left the employer's store to be managed by a team lead. The employer required a manager to be on site, as members of management were trained to deal with incidents that team leads were not equipped to handle. The preponderance of the evidence suggests that the claimant was aware of the employer's policy as he was at task with scheduling or operation managers in accordance with business needs. Moreover, the evidence further suggests that the claimant received previous warnings about his performance and was aware that any further infraction could result in termination of employment. As the claimant was warned that his job was in jeopardy and thereafter violated a known employer rule, the claimant's conduct constituted misconduct connected with the work. Hence, we should modify the appeal tribunal decision, timely employer appeal, misconduct, no chargeback, sever the adequate employer response issue.
Modify the AT timely employer appeal, no misconduct, chargeback, void adequate response.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Demerson.
Case number 3013094, Commissioner Demerson.
We should modify the appeal tribunal decision. The claimant provided sworn testimony that the reason for her separation was the winter storm of 2021. Concerning the final incident, the record dictates that the claimant attempted to report to work as scheduled, but she was unable to do so due to poor weather conditions. As the claimant's separation was a direct result of a naturally declared disaster, the claimant should be qualified for benefits and the employer's account should be protected from chargeback. Therefore, we should modify the appeal tribunal decision, no misconduct, no chargeback, no overpayment, disaster.
I would agree with that.
Agreed.
We have a unanimous decision.
Case number 3017398, Commissioner Demerson.
We should modify the appeal tribunal decision. First, I agree that the claimant filed a valid claim. As to the job separation, the claimant was discharged for exceeding the allowable absences in a rolling 3-month period. Because the majority of the absences resulted from the illness of the claimant's minor child, the claimant should be qualified for benefits and the employer's account should be protected from charge under a medical separation analysis. Accordingly, we should modify the AT decision. The claimant filed a valid claim, no misconduct, no chargeback, MVI of the claimant's minor child.
Ms. Miller, I would agree with Commissioner Demerson.
Agreed.
Thank you. We have unanimous decision.
Case number 3033308, Commissioner Alvarez.
The decision is not supportable. The claimant suffered from a physical and mental issues following a car accident. The claimant has provided medical documentation showing that her job separation was related to her medical conditions. As such, the claimant should be qualified for benefits and the employer's account protected from charge. Modify the AT, no voluntary leaving, no chargeback, MBI.
The appeal tribunal decision should be affirmed. The claimant quit her job due to medical issues. However, the claimant was not advised by a physician to quit, and she did not request any other type of leave from the employer before resigning. The employer also stated that work was still available. As such, the claimant quit without work-connected good cause, and we should affirm the AT decision. Voluntary leaving, no chargeback.
Affirm the AT, voluntary leaving, no chargeback.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Alvarez. And that was the last UI case pulled for additional discussion on docket 4. You should have received the UI short form dissent list for docket 4.
I move we accept staff recommendations on the remaining UI cases on docket 4.
I agree, except for those cases which I'm dissenting as reflected on the unemployment insurance cases, claim form dissent list for docket 4 as well.
I concur with the chairman's motion, except for the cases on which I'm dissenting as reflected in the UI short form dissent list for docket 4.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted.
Thank you.
Thank you. This brings us to the end of agenda items 3 through 7. We'll take a short break and then resume the rest of the meeting.
Mario.
Chairman, can I need to make a correction and I need Sherry back in here. I used the wrong verbiage.
Thank you. Sherry may bring us back in.
Ms. Miller, I apologize. Earlier, I agreed with the chairman on the dissent for docket 4, but let me give you the correct language.
Yes, sir.
I agree, except for those cases on which I'm dissenting as reflected on the wage claim short form dissent list for docket 4.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's second that motion. So
Yes, sir. Thank you.
feeling good.
All right, we're back with agenda item 8. Annual report for shortages and high demand, high wage occupations to the governor, lieutenant governor, and legislature. Hold on just a second.
I'm sorry, it's on now.
All
I'll
right.
repeat that. Good morning, everyone. Chair Daniel, Commissioner Alvarez, Commissioner Demerson, and Mr. Cerna. Just for the record, my name is Mariana Vega. I'm the Director for Labor Market Information at the Texas Workforce Commission. And today, for your consideration and possible action, you have before you the annual commission report on growth occupations to the governor, lieutenant governor, and legislature regarding projected shortages in high wage, high demand occupations. So your offices did receive a copy of the report. For this report, we did examine over 800 occupations. We segmented them by the 13 major industries as specified in Texas Labor Code 302. And for this report, we did categorize the high wage, high demand jobs as those occupations where the annual median pay is estimated to be more than the statewide median wage of $39,637 a year, with an expected change in employment greater than or equal to 400 jobs. To produce this report, we did use various BLS data sets. The report does have two sections. One is the summary report, which includes findings and non-compliance highlights and messaging, as well as the main report, which includes just data as requested by the bill. It includes a brief introduction to the data as well as methodology. So in the main report for each of the major industries in Texas, we do provide some analysis on how employment has changed over the past 5 years, as well as the current employment situation. And we also include projections, and we do list the most in-demand occupations for the 2018-2028 period. Additionally, for each of the occupations, we do provide BLS educational assignments, as well as the top requested skills and certifications. So we would like to request from the dais a staff recommended change to the actual summary report, which is the 4-page shorter report. And basically what we want to do is just clarify that there is no official definition for what a high wage, high demand occupation is. So we want to include basically 3 words, and it's under defining high wage, high demand occupations, the first paragraph, second sentence. So we would include the 3 words for this report, comma, high wage, high demand jobs are defined as those where the annual median pay is estimated to exceed the statewide median, $39,637 a year, with an expected employment change greater than or equal to 400 jobs. I do have a copy of the report with that change if you would like to receive it.
I like to see it.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the change is highlighted on the report. I do want to give special thanks to the LMI team led by Gabriel Guzman. They produced this report, they put together the report, and also special thanks to the Outreach and Employer Initiatives Group who helped put together the summary report. So today we are asking for commission approval of the report with permission to make minor non-substantive changes as we prepare the final layout for publication. That does conclude my remarks. Thank you for your consideration. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those.
Any comments or questions?
Chairman, just that I'm okay with the change that you made.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, it's a question. So for this report, we're defining high wage and high demand jobs. My hope is that we'll have additional discussions so that it's not only for this report, but it's some definition that's defined perpetually, that we understand what that definition truly is. If it's going to be for this report, I'm fine with that. And then further discussion on what it means for other entities that may use the words high demand or high wage jobs.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there a motion?
Chairman, I move that we approve and submit the report on Texas growth occupations to the governor and legislature as presented.
A second.
To move second, we're unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is agenda item 9. Let's see, it's a policy concept to amend chapter 849, employment and training services for dislocated workers.
Hello, good morning, Chairman Daniel, Commissioner Alvarez, Commissioner Demison, Mr. Cerna. For the record, my name is Ethan Herr. I'm with the Workforce Development Division. Today, I have for you consideration of policy concept relating to potential rule amendments to Chapter 849 relating to employment and training services for dislocated workers eligible for trade benefits. On August 21st, 2020, the U.S. Department of Labor Training and Administration Employment and Training Administration released the Trade Adjustment Assistance for Workers Final Rule, which is codified under 20 CFR Part 618, to modernize the TAA program and continue to align the TAA program with WIOA. The potential rule amendments will align 40 TAC Chapter 849 with the TAA final rule, including adding up the requirement to co-enroll trade-affected workers in the WIOA dislocated worker program, updating citations from WIA to WIOA, revising and updating program definitions, and making other updates needed to reflect the regulatory program changes. Staff will also use this opportunity to perform the 4-year rule review of Chapter 849 as required by Texas Government Code 2001.039. Today's staff seeks approval to post the policy concept for Chapter 849 to the TWC website for a 3-week board comment period. That's all I have, and I'm available for any questions if you have them.
Any comments or questions?
None here, Chairman.
None.
Is there a motion?
Chairman, I move that we approve the policy concept for amending Chapter 849 as discussed and post a policy concept for a 3-week comment period.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We're unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is agenda item 10, pledges for board contract year 2021-2022. Child care matching funds.
Right. Good morning. Chairman Daniel, Commissioners, Mr. Cerna, for the record, Travis Weaver, Workforce Development Division. The Texas Workforce Commission allocates federal funding for child care services from the Child Care and Development Fund to local workforce development areas. For a portion of the CCDF funding, local workforce development boards are required to secure and submit local matching funds to TWC in accordance with the federal regulations and TWC Chapter 809 Child Care Services Rules and TWC Chapter 800 General Administration Rules. Boards submit annual local match pledges from private and public entities to secure federal child care child care funds pursuant to 809-17 and to maximize resources for their child care needs in the community. Today, I have 2 items, one for BCY 22 and then again for BCY 21. For BCY 22, support materials shows 17 match agreements from 8 boards, which includes Concho Valley, Deep East, East Texas, Gulf Coast, Lower Rio, Northeast, Rural Capital, and Southeast. Today's action, boards would have secured 82.76% of the statewide child care local match target for BCY 22 compared to 111.23% for BCY 21 during the same time period, with 21 boards securing at least 50% of their target and 12 boards securing their local match target for BCY 22. An item of note, we are expecting 11 more match agreements for 7 boards, and we're hoping to get those by the end of the week. For BCY 21, boards submit child care local match amendments requesting to increase their BCY 21 local child care match agreements previously accepted by the commission as a result of contributors being unable to certify expenses for their original pledge or to capture certifications from approved partners who exceeded their original pledge. Supporting documents include 21 BCY 21 match agreements from 9 boards, which include Borderplex, Cameron County, Concho Valley, Dallas County, Deep East, Gulf Coast, Lower Rio, Rural Cap, and West Central. As a result of today's action, the workforce boards will remain fully matched as a result of these amendments, as well as the state. Today, staff recommends accepting child care pledges for donations, transfers, and certification of expense for BCY 22 in the amount of $4,369,268 and for BCY 21 in the amount of $1,572,850. That concludes my presentation. Be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any comments or questions?
None here, Chairman.
No, thank you.
Is there a motion?
Great job, Travis.
Thank you, sir.
I move that we accept childcare match in the amount of $1,572,000, $72,850 for board contract year 2021 and $4,369,268 for board contract year 2022.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We're unanimous.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'm not showing anything on agenda items 11 or 12, so we'll move to agenda item 13 for nominations.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners, and Mr. Serna. For the record, Cherie Dudley with the Workforce Development Division. For your consideration this morning, we have Workforce Board nominations for Deep East Texas, North Texas, and Northeast Texas. Staff seeks guidance on the presented nominees, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Any comments or questions?
None here, Chairman.
None.
Is there a motion?
Chairman, I move that we approve board nominees for Deep East Texas, North Texas, and Northeast Texas.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. We're unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not showing anything on agenda item 14. I'm showing there's no legislative report. Mr. Serna, an executive director's report.
I have two things very quickly, Commissioners. The first is we're excited to report that for the Department of Labor's non-monetary determination timeliness measure, which is a measure of a claim processed within 21 days, our staff achieved a 96.4% for the fourth quarter of last year and 96.3% for 2021. This is significant in that the target is 80% and Texas's performance placed us at #1 of all states for the last fiscal year. So we're very pleased with our staff's performance. They'll continue to work to achieving more, given what they've been working through. The other thing I want to mention is Mr. Weaver will be retiring. Courtney sent me a brief little write-up. It was actually not that brief, Travis. It's kind of long and I shortened it down. But he started his career with us back in December of 1998 as an internal auditor. So he actually escaped internal audit. But in 2021, he became the manager of employers' customized training, which operated the skills development and self-sufficiency funds. In 2005, he worked with the boards on multiple disaster national emergency grants, such as Katrina, Rita, Dolly, Ike, and the El Paso floods. In 2007, he officially joined what today is known as Workforce Board Grants, first as a program specialist, then a supervisor, and now the manager. At any given year, Workforce Board Grants will produce anywhere from 650 to 800 grants per year for the boards. In 2016, Travis was selected as Professional of the Year by one of the boards, Central Texas, because of his supportive efforts and professionalism, which we all kind of knew that he was very good at. And then during the last 5 years, Travis has also served as the project lead for our VR co-location, which has to date produced 95 co-located VR offices with workforce offices throughout the state of Texas. He's done an outstanding job for us. He's been very patient with me as I'm trying to learn everything that was going on in the areas that he was involved in and giving him more assignments. But I did want to recognize Travis on his upcoming retirement and make sure that he knows that he has an open door to return to the agency at any time. And if y'all have anything to say, now's a good time to either compliment or roast Travis based on what you choose to do. So.
Chairman, I'd just like to thank Travis for your service to this great agency and for all you've done. So thank you for that. And I hope you enjoy your retirement. Thank you, Travis.
Two things. Ed, congratulations to you and the staff on that achievement with DOL. That's pretty phenomenal to see that. And then Travis, thank you for all the work that you've done over the years. When I came over from the governor's office to the Workforce Commission, and when they had the Skills Development Fund placed under our umbrella, the work that you did in that regard and the comfort that you continue to provide meant a lot. And so appreciate all that you've done and wish you the best as you go forward.
Absolutely, Travis. Thank you so much. Hate to see you go, but excited for you to unlock this new level in life. It'll be lots of options for you, whatever you choose to do. I know you'll be good at. So appreciate it very much and all your service to both TWC and the people of Texas. It takes a special person to stick with it that long and to find the success that you have. And I'm glad you did.
Mr. Chairman, I have nothing else.
Is there any other item of business come before the commission?
None here, Chairman.
None here.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Chairman, I move that we adjourn.
All right.
I second it. Jim moved and seconded. We're adjourned.